That's a fact. Give you an example. In the movie, when Neo got out the Matrix, he was in the Matrix. Did y'all see that? So there is no out the Matrix, out of the Matrix. You have to get out the Matrix in the Matrix. And that's when you have a radical shift in your energy in the Matrix, where you're not conforming to the program that has you behave in one way. Black hate. You know what I'm saying? Black distrust. Black negativity. It has you act that way. And then you go against the program in the moment. Redirect your energy. At that moment, you're out the Matrix. But if you look at him, you say, well, he's still in the Matrix. But you're out of the confines. Do you follow what I'm saying? That's what we want to achieve. We're not trying to fly off into the sky. We're out the Matrix. Because you can see us with a Hubble telescope floating through the Milky Way. That don't mean we're out the Matrix. We're out the Matrix when we get in the driver's seat in who we are right now. If you say you want to be on a positive vibration for the next 10 days and something come over you and you're not in the driver's seat anymore. Honestly. The conscious being in you says, I'm doing this. And then all of these things come over you. What is that? You are not in the driver's seat. Some people cover it up. As soon as they have a moment of difference, they say, oh, no, I'm good. I'm on this, I'm this, that, and the other. Quit lying. You're one moment of lack of control, right? Of going back into what? The program. But over time, with discipline, that begins to decrease increment by increment. And they look at you and they see something that is almost unbelievable. They see a manifestation of a human being that is not like no other one that they see. Because you have manifested something outside of the program. And it happens in cycles. For some, it's a month cycle. For some, it's a week cycle. You might go through a week, you're good. Then you take a whole week, and then you back on the programming. For some, it's a month. You go one good month, then a whole nother month. The better you get, the longer the time limits are. And the best thing you could do when you realize you have fell back into the matrix thinking, when you have fell back into the programming, the best thing you can do at that moment when you realize it is get out of it quickly. You follow what I'm saying? Don't rehash it. Don't give it no whole bunch of energy because you're getting pulled further into it. You turn in something that would only been 1 day or 2 minutes, you don't turn it into a month. So as soon as you realize that, wait a minute, that's not the level of vibration that I'm really projecting. That's not the vibration that I'm on. You get out of it quickly and you manifest it. And then them times will become shorter and shorter. But that's discipline though. But if we got so much pride and ego to keep acting in the mindset that we got it all together, we're skipping over some important parts that need to be transformed. We just making some huge leaps. Said, I'm ready to build this nation. I'm ready to transform the condition of our people. And you then leaped over the fact that in approximately 24 hours, you're down. You run the war. War is 20 blocks. When you get to 10 blocks, you're going to sit down and cry. You know what I'm saying? I mean, pathologically. This is your behavioral tendency based upon lack of complete manifestation of discipline. How long are you going to be in a higher self mode of realization to achieve any task? To be successful at any task? That's a real question. That's a real question because that's going to determine what you are able to achieve. That's the true determining factor. So discipline is the question. We are already free. Our freedom has been manipulated. Now we must become directors of ourself versus a higher position. Our freedom was manipulated. We was free to get programmed. We had nothing but free time to sit up and watch television vision. We was free to listen to the radio and listen to the new hottest song that's going to hypnotize us into some bullshit. We already are coming from a reality where freedom has been abused. And we are the products of freedom abuse. Do you follow what I'm saying? You're free to receive anything. I'm telling people, I'm not free to that. I'm not free to hear that. I'm not free to listen to that. I'm not free to participate in that. Do you see what I'm saying? That's a fact. People come to you with these energies and they say, are you free now? No, I'm not. I am a true slave to black supremacy. I'm not free to nothing else. That sounds oxymoronic. Mm-hmm. That sounds like a paradox, though. Because to ultimately become free is to become a slave to yourself. That's a fact. Because if you're free and you must exist, because what they call freedom is like non-existence. To be free is to become an owner of yourself. That means you have complete integrity to what you're about, what you stand for. You follow what I'm saying? Not just free to anything. That means you're free to become another white supremacy again. You follow? I'm not free to do that. I'm not free to be hugging up with Sally and shaking hands with Peter. Talking about world globalism and greenery and greenhouse effect. I'm not free to do that. That's a freedom I do not want. You follow what I'm saying? I'm not free to go get a job and work for the European. I'm not free to do that. That's a fact. But that sounds like a paradox. Some people say, well, I just want to be free. I want to be free to do it. I'm not free to be around you. Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's a fact. Because the individual got to ask themselves, what do they want? It's certain type of freedoms I don't want. I'm not free to use crack. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's certain freedoms I do not. I'm a slave to not experience it. A willing slave to not participate in that. That means I'm in control of it, of these realities. It's a fact. So freedom has limits. If you don't want to be a slave, you're already not free to be one. When you say that, you just destroyed your own freedom. The problem was you was free to be a slave, but you was not free to be on black supremacy. That's all we had the freedom to do. You had to get a job, go to school, blah, blah. We had the freedoms to do those. Didn't our parents make it clear that we had the freedom to do that? You're free to go to school. You're free to do these things. You break out your parents' paradigm, you stand outside, you're free to sell these drugs. You're free to get your ass whooped by your own people on your block. You're free to join this gang. So different, what? Social groups or different levels of society offer you different levels of freedom. None of them offered you the freedoms of black supremacy. But the freedom of one thing, certain freedoms, create certain slaveries. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying? This is deep. There is divine slavery. The white man messed up slavery. He messed up our concept of slavery. We didn't understand what slavery was necessary on a spiritual level. It's necessary to be a slave to yourself. If you don't, you will ultimately become a slave to somebody else. Somebody got to drive this ship. That's a fact. Nothing's out there flowing free. It's either directed or it falls product. It becomes a byproduct of a director. If you just go out there freely, a strong enough wind is going to take you somewhere. You follow what I'm saying? You go walk out there freely, some slippery enough ice is going to slip you somewhere. So this whole concept of freedom has become irrational and is now working against specific freedom. Some people don't want specific freedom. They want general freedom. Whatever the hell that is. But if they could specifically express, understand, and be committed to the freedoms that they wanted, they could achieve them. But us as a people, we just want freedom. And that desire for freedom